February 9, 1910, the Wayne County Democrat, Worcester, Ohio. Sound waves save sailors. Wireless dispatches summon help to sinking boat and all on board are saved. New York, February 5th. Thanks again to the wireless and the International Distress Signals SOS, Captain Moore and his crew of 46 men are safe on board the Mallory liner Alamo, bound for Key West, while their vessel, the steamer Kentucky, is at the bottom of the sea off Cape Hatteras. It is another case of a disaster averted by wireless and told to the world by the same medium. The Kentucky, a wooden vessel of 996 gross tonnage and 203 feet long, was bound from New York to the Pacific to carry passengers between Tacoma and Alaskan ports for the Alaska Pacific Steamship Company. First news of the Kentucky's distress was received at the wireless station at Cape Hatteras at 11:30 o'clock Friday morning. There, the operator heard the SOS, quickly followed by this message: "We are sinking. Our latitude is 32 degrees 10 minutes, longitude 76 degrees 30 minutes. Almost simultaneously, the operator heard the steamship Alamo respond to the Kentucky's call for help, informing Captain Moore that the Alamo was making all speed to the sinking vessel's assistance. Thereafter, no message was received from the Kentucky indicating that water had interfered with the power, putting her wireless apparatus out of commission. The Navy Department at Washington, in the meantime, flashed wireless messages along the Atlantic coast, dispatching the battleship Louisiana and 2 revenue cutters to the scene. But at 5 o'clock last evening, word came from the Alamo that she had arrived first and had taken off all hands in safety. February 6, 1913, Meriden Morning Record, Meriden, Connecticut. Mystery of the Deep. Crew of the bark Remittent matches the Marie Celeste. Newport News, Virginia, February 5th. Another mystery of the deep, practically paralleling the unexplained disappearance of the crew of the schooner Marie Celeste several years ago, has come to port here with the British tank steamer Romunion. On January 19, churning along 10 days out from Port Arthur in near the Azores, she picked up the Norwegian bark Remittent, seaworthy, provisioned, and fully rigged, but without a soul aboard, and no indication of the crew's fate. The Romanian, after towing the Remittent to within 100 miles of Cape Henry, lost her in a violent gale. The Marie Celeste was found at sea with a pot boiling in her galley and her captain's papers on the cabin table, and every indication that souls were aboard within a few hours of her discovery. But nothing was ever heard of her skipper or crew. The story of the Remittent is scarcely less strange. The Romanian sighted the Remittent in latitude 40 degrees 30 minutes and longitude 27 degrees 30 minutes, riding a heavy swell without a hand to guide her, before a freshening breeze. The big steamer's crow's nest immediately reported her as a ship out of control, and Captain Claridge set out in pursuit. While the Romanian was coming up on her, the Remittent, with tiller banging to and fro, and blocks a-trundling on her decks, was running wild in dashes and bounds, first to one point of the compass and then to another. The Romanian lowered boats to take a line and capture the bark. After more than an hour's jockeying, during which the Remittent sailed in swoops and dashes, now stopping dead, a tremble in the eye of the wind, and then bounding away to the crackling of what canvas was furled, the pursuing small boat finally caught her coming around broadside on and boarded her. Her deck planks, once swabbed and holystoned to a glistening white, bore the marks of many feet, but there was nothing to explain the disappearance of her master and crew. In her cabin, some odds and ends rolled in the corners with the rolling of the ship. The lockfast places were undisturbed. Her charts and papers were secure. In her water breaker, there was a full supply of fresh water. Salt junk and biscuits were in her stores. A mainsail and 2 jibs were snugly furled, and her lifeboat swung and groaned in the davits. The Romanian's boarders bent a hawser to their prize and took her in tow. A few hours later, the pair ran into gales, which lost the tank her consort, but not until after a valiant fight to save her, and brought the steamer into port here with the scars of red rust and salt of a rough experience to show for her work. The steamer and her salvage bowled along together in fairly favorable weather for several days, and in the first blow, which they met 100 miles off Cape Henry, Captain Claridge lost the remittent. At the end of the long hawser, the bark plunged along in the gale, first rising up as if she had been stung, and then lying down as if she were about to die, and in one of her flights she snapped the line and blew away from her rescuer. Twice the Romanian attempted to launch boats to carry a new line, and each time they were crushed against her side by heavy seas, and their crews narrowly escaped drowning. Captain Claridge finally gave it up and made for port, leaving the remittent riding out the gale. No other ship has reported her since. The remittent was commanded by Captain Torgerson, and she sailed from Rio Grande do Sul October 25th for Liverpool. She was of 351 tons, a comparatively small ship, probably carried in addition to her master a crew of 5 or 6. June 24, 1927, the Victoria Advocate, Victoria, Texas, solves mystery of vessel abandoned in mid-ocean years ago. International News Service, London, June 23rd. One of the greatest mysteries of the sea, the story of the derelict Marie Celeste, which on December 7, 1872, was found abandoned in mid-ocean with all sails set and a table laid for breakfast, was recalled at the Tower Bridge Police Court here when Howard Lucy, aged 73, homeless, and described as a writer, was remanded by Magistrate Tassel on a charge of attempted suicide. Inquiries lead to the belief that Howard Lucy conceals the identity of Captain Howard Lucy, Royal Naval Reserve, who gave to the world what is believed to be the explanation of the mystery of the Marie Celeste, 52 years after the ship was found. Captain Lucy's story was that a man named Triggs, who was the boatswain on the Marie Celeste, told him under oath of secrecy that the Marie Celeste was deliberately abandoned because the crew were afraid it would be discovered that they had boarded a derelict steamer and taken $17,500 from a safe in the purser's cabin. The money was shared between the captain and the crew. Captain Lucy stated that he was sure that the name of Triggs was assumed and that the man told the story only on condition that it would not be revealed until after his death. The captain kept his secret for more than 40 years. Lucy's solicitor in court said that a society had interested themselves in his fortunes and that arrangements were being made to send him back to Madras, where Lucy had many friends. Magistrate Tassel assented to this course and, as stated, remanded him for a week in order that the society might be able to complete its arrangements.